Mars is going into the Destiny content vault in November with the release of Beyond Light. Anna Bray, a popular character in the Destiny universe and recent star of Season of the Worthy with Rasputin, is going to live on, unlike some of her other NPC counterparts. And we also have the Exo Stranger coming next season and her sister, so it'll be interesting to see if the Bray sisters get back together. And if you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, first of all, let's remind ourselves who Anna Bray is. So Dr. Anastasia Bray is a hunter gunslinger and an adopted member of House Bray. Prior to her first death, she was a psycholinguist who helped develop the warmind Rasputin by teaching it independent thought. After the collapse, Anna was revived by a ghost named Jinju. Unlike most Guardians, Anna had knowledge about her past life due to a Clovis Bray ID she was wearing upon her revival. She became a hero of the Last City, but disappeared after the Battle of Twilight Gap, with many believing her dead in order to investigate her past. She received help from Owl Sector operative Cameron Demuzi, who Anna eventually entered into a relationship with. Her search led her to a Clovis Bray facility in the Hellas Basin on Mars, where Anna hoped to recruit Rasputin in aiding humanity against its enemies. However, the presence of a hive brood called the Grasp of Nokris complicated her efforts, and Anna teamed up with the young wolf and Commander Zavala to rescue the Warmind. Well, first of all, with the book of Duress and Egress, let's have a look at Anna Frayed. She had tried everything, the Great Bray, a lineage that promised to save them. For all her genius and moxie, this was beyond her. Rasputin lay dying in a dozen empty screens splayed out around Anna's command station. She could visualise the bleeding code running through her fingers. Zavala's voice was in her ear, an ambient haze, relegated to the background of her mind like a distant gunfire. The image of the pyramid's distortion wave was still raw. This wasn't an attack, it was a command, a lazy dismissal of their best laid plans. There were no explosions, no blaring sirens or sparks of dramatic electricity, nothing to combat or fix, just a guardian walled in silent black glass and disbelief. She had been so sure. Anna's eyes tracked Jinju as the ghost sped from console to console, attaching strings of light to each. They showed her as she went, buried under some load. "Anna," Jinju's voice strained under the crushing distortion. "I think I've got him. Most of him, but not for long." The words cut through the distant gunfire. "What?" Anna asked. Her voice came in softly at first, unsure what form to take as the information processed. "What?" Jinju groaned and whispered and exasperated. "Pillory. Engram. It's not ready. Anna, now." "He'll go insane. I can't." The light tethers attached to Jinju began to pop one by one. It's this or nothing. The prospect sent Anna tearing across the room. She belted a command into the air and a floor safe opened in response. Anna snatched the dodecahedron enclosure from the safe and embraced it in front of Jinju. "Jinju, do it!" The ghost shells reformed to forge a directing structure before her core erupted with light and data. A stream of pure information beamed into the engram, filling it with spiralling wisps of light. "Did you?" "As much as I could." Outside the windows, bolts of atmospheric friction dragged flame through the sky as warsats plummeted from low-orbit defensive positions. Their impacts were distant. Well, next up, from the book of Duress and Egress, we've got Anna. Physics. Zavala set down 2 glasses. He watched Anna's face as he poured velvet-looking liquor and filled them. Her eyes were focused on the grains of his desk. How to the unobservant they would fade away into the greater canvas of the wood, indistinguishable from each other. The traveller hung behind them, buried in a darkened cloud, a part of and apart from the sky. "I can't believe we lost," she said. "We are not lost." Zavala pushed a glass towards Anna. "I froze. We still don't even know if we saved anything," she said. "It's not so easy to act in the face of defeat. The prospect of a future is something we have to keep in mind." Anna glared at Zavala. Nothing we do is supposed to be easy, isn't that the point? This was a stress test, and I buckled. Faith, Anna. You reminded me that we wrap ourselves in the doubt of past failures. Without you, the city would be ash and rubble more than once. Anna scooped the glass into her hand. She smelled the liquor, winced and placed it back onto the table. You believed in me. Rasputin was my job. Yes, and he still is. A job for the future, Zavala said and sipped his drink. Now we have a new job. Eris needs our support. Tell me everything isn't over. When Cade passed, I saw the fracturing of the Vanguard as a path towards inevitable failure. Still, it had proved impossible to fill his seat. I believed that I would be too weak to lead without the balance added by his unique perspective. As it turns out, his life was but one in an eternity of choices. Zavala, I don't want... Relax. I'm not offering you the job. Unless you killed Cade and we had the wrong man this whole time. If I did, would you forgive me? I'd understand, he said and smiled. Ikora told me back then that an object in motion stays in motion. I've always admired that phrase, but I must admit it can be difficult to adhere to. Anna shook her head. That's just physics. A fundamental aspect of life. He watched Anna's mood lighten as she considered his words. We find the footholds we can, and we make the best step given the ground we have before us. Anna nodded. What happened to Kay's chicken? Zavala sighed. I believe Saint has anointed it as some sort of pigeon lord. Anna's locked jaw melted into a smile. Life doesn't wait for us, no matter how long we live for it. Drink your drink, Zavala chuckled, his glass to his face, before the Lord of Pigeons summon us to attack the pyramids. And finally, in the book of Duress and Egress for Anna, we have Anna, Black Box. As Anna Bray watched the Guardian Sparrow rocket across Hell's Basin for the last time, she saw a confidant who had believed in her when no one else would. That faith, Zavala had reminded her, was a bond with more power than all the Warmind weapons in the system. It was a promise to go on, an agreement that there was still a future. Jinju would call it a reverse salvage. She knew a thing or two about building something from the wreckage of the past. The building was nearly empty. She had sent out as much tech to the tower as they could handle, an entire freight vessel's worth, packed to bursting. She turned to the large glass window overlooking the silent Warsack cannons. There were no Cabal. The death buried beneath Mars had quietened. The Valkyrie subroutines that could be maintained remotely remained active, just in case. Jinju ran the final checks on the jump ship. A dark pyramid loomed overhead. An experimental Exo chassis was secured in the ship's cargo hold, 1 foot in front of the other. Well, really interesting stuff there from Anna Bray and the book of Duress and Egress. Let me know what you think of the story down there in the comments. Well, that is it for this video of the story of Anna Bray and the book of Duress and Egress in Season of Arrivals. And thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. To join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVGpodcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out these other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.